So today we will continue this lesson only photoelectric effect and dual nature of matter and its radiation. Okay. So in this lesson, photons, photoelectric effect, experimental setup to study photoelectric effect, and Einstein photoelectric effect means we have read up to graphical representation of the photoelectric current. Okay. Yes, no. Can anyone can tell me up to which topic we covered in this chapter, photoelectric effect and dual nature of matter and radiation? I think we have to start it from this Einstein's photoelectric equation, right? Please tell me in the comment box, any one of you, or I will start from the beginning again. What you want? Can we start from the beginning again? Tell me, everyone.
Sure.
Okay, so first of all, we will discuss what is photon and photoelectric effect. Okay. So if I discuss, see whose mic is on, can you turn it off? Whose mic is on? Otherwise, I have to mute you. Okay, thank you. So what is a photon? Photon, it is a packet or bundle of energy. Okay, and bundle of energy of what? So energy will be given in this form: E is equal to h mu, where mu is equal to hc by lambda. Okay. So first of all, we have to understand the basic concept of light. Okay. So if I say whose mic is on, please turn it off. First of all, the concept of photons is that it is consisting of small packets of energy. It is not particle. Okay. Photon is massless. Photon does not have any kind of mass with itself. So these packets of energy, so in one packet of energy, how much energy will be given? So energy is given by h into mu, where h is called your Planck's constant. H is called your Planck's constant. The value and everything I will give you, Planck's constant. First, understand what is these things. And it is called the frequency of the light. Okay, frequency of light. In electromagnetic induction or in electromagnetic wave chapter, we will see that light is an electromagnetic wave, okay, which will travel like this wave function. Okay, this is the electric field of the electric light wave, and this perpendicular one is the magnetic field. So like this way, electric field and magnetic field will travel combined together. This is the direction of wave, and this is your electric field, and this downward is your magnetic field. So what is the meaning of frequency? So frequency meaning is that in 1 second, how many times it is oscillating. Okay, that is the meaning of frequency. How many times it is oscillating? It means, suppose if we write frequency of light is 20 hertz. So it means in 1 second, the light wave is oscillating 20 times. Okay, similarly, if I write frequency as 50 hertz, so meaning of this is that in 1 second, the light wave will oscillate how many times? 50 times. This is the meaning of frequency. Okay, so that we will discuss here. Now, the energy again can be written in this form, that is hc by lambda. Okay, it means you can say the frequency is written as speed of light divided by wavelength of the wave. Okay, so this is again a very important equation or relation, you can say, for the understanding of photoelectric effect. First of all, we will see the behavior of photoelectric effect, and then afterward we will understand some of the basic concept here. You can say the energy h is given as Planck's constant, and mu is the frequency of the radiation or light, you can say, or photon. Okay, Now, c is the speed of light, which is also, you can say here, it is electromagnetic wave, and lambda is the wavelength of the radiation or wavelength of the wave. Okay. Now, there are some properties of this photon, which is very, very important here only to understand first. Then we will discuss photoelectric effect. So, first property is a photon travels at a speed of light, and everyone knows that what is the speed of light. So speed of light is given as 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Okay, this is speed of light, remember. So if photon is moving, suppose this is one photon particle and it is moving like this, so with what velocity it will move? So its velocity will be 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, which is one of the highest speed attainable in nature. Okay. If I talk about the mass of this photon, so mass of this photon is assumed to be zero, or you can say no mass. A photon is having no mass or zero mass. Okay. So these are the some characteristic things for your photon. Number second property, it has zero rest mass, that is mass of the photon, you can say it is zero, that is photon cannot exist at rest. Okay, it means if you can say photon is there, okay, so if velocity of this photon is zero, so it cannot be, means photon mass will be zero when velocity is zero, or you can say when photon is at rest. Okay, so mass of the photon is given as zero. Now there is a concept of relative mass. We know from Einstein equation, relative mass of any body is given by rest mass. Please write this equation, divided by under root of 1 minus v square by c square, where mr is called your relative mass and m0 is called your rest mass. Okay, here m0 is called your rest mass. Rest mass. So let me give you a practical understanding of relative mass. Suppose you are standing on the ground. Suppose this is you. You are just standing on the ground. Suppose your mass is 50 kg. Okay. So now suppose you start running on the ground. So suppose first your velocity is 2 meter per second, then 3 meter per second, then as the time passes, your velocity is increasing. Okay, so when your velocity will increase, you will feel that your mass is decreasing. It means you will feel very light. Okay, you can say mass is decreasing in nature due to increase in velocity. Therefore, you can say mass is relative in nature, that when you increase the velocity of yourself, mass will be decreasing. Okay, so this is the concept here, and this concept is given by Einstein. This is about relative mass. You can say length is also relative. So relative length also you can write, it is equal to rest length divided by under root of 1 minus v square by c square. It means length is also relative in nature. Okay, when you increase the velocity, length of the body is also increasing. Okay, so is this clear to you? Please write it in the text box so that I can go to the next point. Is this clear to you, everyone? Okay, thank you, Sneha. Now see, the next point we will discuss here is, so kinetic energy or kinetic mass of photons. So just now I told you that kinetic energy is given by half mv square, or from Einstein's equation, very important equation Einstein has given in his equation, that is E is equal to mc square. It means mass can be converted into energy and vice versa, and energy can also be converted into mass. Okay, but energy of photon, what we know, energy of photon we know it is equal to h mu or equal to hc by lambda. So if I relate these two equation, can I write mc square is equal to hc by lambda? So from here, one c get cancelled and we can write mass is equal to h by c into lambda. Okay. So this is the kinetic mass of the photon. Or you can say this equation we have written now, that is m is equal to m naught under root 1 minus c square by v square. So this mass and this mass both are same mass. Both are called relativistic mass. Okay. So this is the thing here, that kinetic mass of the photon is given by this equation. Now what is kinetic momentum of the photon? So we know momentum is given by momentum, if I write, so it is given by mass into velocity. And we know photon will travel with which velocity? So speed of light. So m into c. So that will be equal to mass. Just now we have calculated here. Mass is equal to h by c lambda into c. So one c get cancelled and we get finally it is h by lambda. Okay. So this is the meaning here, that momentum of the photon is given by h by lambda. So tell me, this is clear? Is this clear, everyone? Okay, thank you, Rishikesh, Almina. Thank you. Now see the next point, photon travels in straight line. So very basic thing for photon, obviously it will travel only in a straight line only. Next, energy of the photon depend upon frequency of the photon. So the energy of the photon does not change when photon travel from one medium to another medium. It means it means so fifth point to clear, that photon will travel only in a straight line. Why straight line? Can anyone can tell me why it is traveling in a straight line? Why it will travel in a straight line? Anyone can give me any hint or anything? Rishikesh or anyone? Almina, Rishikesh, Neha, can you tell me why photons are traveling only in a straight line? Try to answer. So the reason is that whenever some object is moving in curved path, okay, so when it is moving in curved path, its velocity will change for each and every point. But photon is moving with such a high speed that any point of time its velocity will not change. Every point of time velocity is c only, c only, c only. That is why, because of very high speed, it will always follow a perfectly straight line type of motion. Is it clear? Is this clear to you? Tell me yes or no. Okay. Now the next thing, that energy of the photon depend only on frequency. So just now we have seen the energy equation is given as h into mu, where this h is called your Planck's constant h. Okay, which value is 6.26 into 10 to the power minus 34 joule second. That we will discuss afterwards when we will deal with numerical problems. So we concluded here that energy will only be proportional to frequency of the wavelength wave only. Okay, so photon of energy depend only upon frequency of the photon. So energy of the photon does not change when it is traveling from one medium to another medium, because frequency will not change. Okay, so can I go to the next page now? Tell me everyone, can I go to the next page now? Okay. So next point is, okay. Next point is wavelength of the photon travel. Yeah, you have any question, anyone? Limcha? Yeah, please tell your question or any point you left it. Which point? Number, tell me number. Straight line photon. Yeah, you have any doubt with that? Which one? This one? Photons travel in a straight line. This one? You have doubt in this point? Okay. So wait, let me give you one. Okay. So suppose a particle is moving in a curved path like this. Okay. It is moving in this curved path. So when a particle will move in curved path, so if you consider the various points on the curve, so in order to move in the curved path, the velocity, try to feel this. When you are moving in a curved path, you have to change the velocity of the system. At this point, something velocity, at this point, suppose velocity is v2, at this point, velocity is v3, at this point, velocity is v6. Suppose, let us suppose. So it means in order to move in a curvilinear path, your velocity will be non-uniform. Non-uniform. Then only you can move in the curved path. Otherwise, when you are moving in straight path, okay, your velocity should be uniform. If this point velocity will be same, this point velocity will be same, this point velocity will be same, it means in order to move in a curved path, okay, see, for moving in a straight line, it is not necessary that velocity will remain constant. Even if your velocity is different, you can move in a straight path, but with constant velocity you cannot move in a curvilinear path, that is 2 meter per second or 3 meter per second. It means in order to move in a curvilinear path, you have to change the direction of your velocity. Even if the magnitude is same, v2 magnitude is equal to v3, but you have to change the direction. Therefore, and speed of light, we know it is 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second, which is very high speed. So in order to maintain this speed, photon will try to move in the straight path only. Then it will form one straight line type of motion. Okay, and this velocity is given as 3 into 10 to the power 8 meter per second. Is this clear? Okay. Now see the next point here, that again who is, so the next point says here, wavelength of the photon changes in different media. What we have said in the previous point, that frequency of the light or frequency of the radiation does not change when radiation is coming from one medium to another medium, because energy is dependent upon only on frequency. Okay, so when a light will travel from one medium to another medium, its frequency remains same. So what will remain different? So here it is written, the wavelength of the photon changes in different medium or media. So velocity of the photon in different media will be different. Okay, it means here, if suppose this is medium 1 and this is medium 2, and suppose light is coming like this. Okay, so here suppose wavelength is lambda and speed is v1. Okay, and when light will enter this medium, so suppose this is the initial path, so it will bend away from the normal like this, suppose. So in this case, suppose wavelength will be lambda 2 and speed will be v2. So you can say that v1, this is not frequency, this is a speed equal to distance by time, and speed is equal to distance by time for both the cases will be same, and so dividing this we will get a relation v1 by v2 is equal to lambda 1 by lambda 2. Okay, and this is the very important concept for uh, your geometrical optics or optics part 1. Okay, where we discuss optics, this is the relation, very important relation we will develop for light, that whenever light will travel from one medium to another medium, the wavelength of the light will change. Okay, frequency remains same. Okay, and when frequency remains same and wavelength changes, so speed of the light will change in different medium. So if suppose this medium second is optically denser medium, and optically rarer medium is the medium 1. So in the denser medium, obviously velocity will be decreased as compared to the velocity in the first medium. Okay, is this clear to you, everyone? Is this point is clear to you? Tell me, any one of you. Very simple point this is. Okay, wavelength, it will different, it will remain different in different medium, and if wavelength is different, so velocity is also different in different medium. Very simple. Now if I talk about the charge on the photon, so electrically it is having no charge or neutral in nature. Like in electrostatics we have read about the charges, positive charge and negative charge, about the fundamental particle. So here photon is electrically neutral or no charge. Okay, now photon may show diffraction under given condition. Diffraction we will discuss in optics, what is diffraction. Okay, now next is photon are not deviated by magnetic or electric fields. So as I told you that photons are electrically neutral, therefore photon cannot be deviated by any of the magnetic or electric field. Okay, so please remember this point. These are very important point. Okay, now we will discuss what is photoelectric effect. Okay, so the phenomenon of emission of photons from mainly metal surface, okay, exposed to light energy, and light energy means X-ray, gamma ray, UV ray, visible light, and even infrared rays of suitable frequency is known as photoelectric effect. Okay, now let me elaborate this thing first. What is the meaning of this? If we have a metallic surface like this, so when ray of light will fall on this metallic surface, Okay, these are the metals, metal atoms, and in the metal atoms there are some electrons. So this photon will carry some energy, and that energy we know is equal to h into mu. So if this energy is greater than, that is, if we can write, if E is greater than some energy that is phi naught. Phi naught we will discuss just now what is phi naught. So if this energy is greater than phi naught, the electron will emit from the surface. Let me use different color pen here. So this electron will emit from the metal surface. From each atom, some of the electron will emit or eject out from the surface. Okay, and whenever this electron will emit from the metal surface, and this phenomenon is known as photoelectric effect. Is it clear? Tell me, is this clear? And this light energy, in this light energy, these are photons. Please remember, these are photons, and photons. So it is photons, meaning is light energy. So light energy can be X-ray, gamma ray, UV ray, visible light even, and infrared rays also. Okay, so these are the photons by which light energy or light type of thing will be emitted on the metal surface, and this will eject out the electrons from the metal surface. Okay, and this is called your photoelectric effect. Tell me, is this clear? Is this clear, everyone? Okay, so now the electrons emitted by this effect is called photoelectrons, and the current developed by this photoelectrons is called photoelectric current. So just now we will discuss what is this photoelectrons and what is photoelectric current. Just now I told you that some of the electron will emit out from the surface. Okay, and that surface electrons we will discuss as photoelectrons, and current developed by these photoelectrons are known as photoelectric current. Okay, now non-metal also show photoelectric effect. Like always, it is not necessary that only metal will show photoelectric effect. Sometimes photoelectric effect can be shown by non-metals as well. Okay, so liquid and gases also show photoelectric effect, but to limited extent. Okay, not only non-metal and metal, even liquid and gases also show photoelectric effect. Okay, you can see this is one metallic surface here, and from the metallic surface UV rays are coming. UV rays means light rays, and this light rays will emit electrons from the surface, and these electrons are called what? These electrons are called photoelectrons. Okay, so other than metals, alkali metals, you can see again visible light. So in this case no photoelectric effect will be shown. Okay, because of, suppose here energy is not so high extent. Okay, again see visible light on alkali metals, photoelectric effect will be seen. Okay, so metals other than alkali metals, generally other than alkaline metal. Okay, alkaline metal means those metals having one electron in the valence shell, those are alkali metals. So other than alkali metals, like if you place gold or iron or any another kind of metal which is not alkaline in nature, so it does not show you photoelectric effect in general. But if we use some particular frequency of light, then it may show. Okay. Now see the experimental setup for the study of photoelectric effect. So this is one vacuum chamber. Okay, this plate is called cathode plate, written as C. This plate is named as anode plate, written as A. This is connected to an external source supply. Okay, you can say current will flow in this direction from positive to negative terminal. Okay, again voltage is also connected to measure the voltage. C is the metallic cathode, A is the metallic anode, and you can say here W. So W is the quartz window. When we connect the switch here, now see photoelectrons will emitted from the surface and it will be attracted toward point A due to the electric field present between the plate C and A. Okay. So this will show you the photoelectrons are traveling in the medium, and due to this photoelectron traveling, current will develop in the opposite direction. And that current is known as photoelectric current. See, electrons are moving in this direction, so current will develop in this direction, I, and this current is called your photoelectric current. Is it okay? Is this clear, everyone? Please tell me yes or no. Is this setup is okay with you? Is this setup is clear to you? Tell me. Okay. So now see, glass transmit only visible and infrared lights only, not UV rays, and quartz transmit only UV light. So you can say when light of suitable frequency fall on the metal cathode, photoelectrons will be emitted from the surface. These photoelectrons are attracted toward the positive anode, and hence photocurrent is constituted. Now see some of the variation of photoelectric effect. Now effect of intensity versus photoelectric current. So for a fixed frequency, photocurrent increases linearly with intensity of the incident light. Okay, it means what is the meaning of intensity? So you can assume that we have initially one bulb, and as the time passes, we are increasing the number of bulbs. One bulb, two bulb, three bulb. We are increasing the intensity of the light. At final, the intensity will be very very high. So it means when intensity is very high, the number of photoelectrons that will emit from the metal surface is also very high. Therefore, you can say here the relation between photoelectric current and intensity is directly proportional. If you increase the intensity, the current will also increase. Okay, so that relation is shown in this diagram, that is increasing linearly like this. Okay, so this is the condition for the first case, that is effect of intensity on the photoelectric current. Second is effect of potential on photoelectric current. So you can say you can see the graph here. This is the saturation current, and this we are having potential of the plate A. Okay, so for a fixed frequency and intensity of incident light, the photoelectric current increases with increasing positive potential applied to the anode. Therefore, you can say when all the photoelectrons reach plate A, okay, so current become maximum, and that current is known as saturation current. Okay, it means see from the plate C or cathode, electrons are emitting out, and that electrons are collected towards the anode plate, that is plate A. So when all the electrons from the cathode plate are emitting out and it will be accumulated over the surface A or plate A, that current, okay, so that current is called saturation current. Okay, so it means as the time passes, we will attain a value of current which will give us the saturation current, and the saturation current first it will increase, and after some time it will remain constant. You can see from the graph. And if we extend this line in the negative axis, we will get one potential or negative potential, that is called stopping potential as well. Okay, So when potential is decreased, you can say the current also decreases, but does not become zero at zero potential. You can say the current does not become zero at zero potential. Okay, so this is called your stopping potential. This shows that even in the absence of accelerating potential, a few photoelectrons manage to reach the plate on their own due to what? Due to kinetic energy. Therefore, when negative potential is applied to the plate, okay, with respect to plate C, photoelectric current becomes zero at the particular value, and negative potential called stopping potential or cutoff potential. Is it clear? Is this clear, everyone? Please tell me yes or no. Can I go to the next page now? Other than Rishikesh, can I go to the next page now? Please respond, everyone. Okay, thank you. So intensity of the light, finally, you can say it is not affected by stopping potential. Please remember this last point. Intensity of incident light does not affected by the stopping potential. Okay, does not affected by the stopping potential. Now, the next and the last one we will discuss is that effect of frequency on the incident light. Okay, or what is the effect of frequency of incident light on photoelectric current? So it says that for a fixed intensity of light, the photoelectric current does not depend upon the frequency of the incident light, because the photoelectric current simply depends on the number of photoelectrons emitted. Okay, and in turn on the number of photons incident, and not on the energy of the photon. So frequency means it is not dependent upon the number of how many numbers they are giving. Okay, it will basically dependent on the energy. Therefore this we will say that photoelectric current will simply depend on the number of photoelectrons. If the number of free electrons is higher, so in this turn number of incident photons are also very high. Okay, and next thing we will discuss is effect of frequency on the incident light on photo stopping potential. So you can see this type of graph we will get for stopping potential versus saturation current. Okay,